Now at 6, details of a Webb City shooting that sent 2 people to the hospital. Plus, authorities capture a Southwest Missouri murder suspect and the TikTok trend that's possibly made its way to the 4 states and could land participants in jail.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Webb City Police Department's investigating the shootings of 2 people. This is KOAM News at 6. Happened early this afternoon. Webb City Police say they were called to the 500 block of North Colonial for a disturbance. Officers found a man and a woman both suffering from gunshot wounds. The victims were taken to a local hospital with serious injuries. Police believe this was an isolated incident and that there is no threat to the public. A Marionville, Missouri murder suspect is in police custody. The Aurora Marionville Police Department says today they arrested Jamie Lee Godfrey. He's accused in the murder of 50-year-old Jess Davis. Davis was found dead in his Marionville home yesterday. Authorities are not releasing more information about Godfrey's suspected involvement. They thanked community members and law enforcement for, quote, jumping into action to help with this case. One of the suspects in the hit-and-run death of a Pea Ridge, Arkansas police officer has a trial date after pleading not guilty to numerous charges connected to the crime. Shauna Cash is set to appear back in court in December. Cash is one of 2 suspects in the death of Pea Ridge officer Kevin Apple. Police say Cash and her co-defendant hit and killed Apple with their car. Cash is charged with capital murder, escape, fleeing, 2 counts of aggravated assault, leaving the scene of a personal injury accident, criminal mischief, obstructing governmental operations, and reckless driving. Her co-defendant, Elijah Andazola, has also pled not guilty. The Webb City Fire Department is working to determine the cause of the fire that damaged the Missouri Metal Recycling Building. It happened just before 11:30 this morning. The Webb City Fire Chief tells us he believes the fire was started by a worker who was welding, but the official cause of the fire has not been determined. Crews from Webb City, Oronogo, Joplin, and Duquesne responded to help put out that fire. The Joplin Health Department reports we've lost 3 more people to COVID-19. The patients were 2 men who were aged 72 and 22, and 1 woman who was 59. The latest deaths bring the city's total now to 168. Jacob Leonard joins us with a first look at the weather.
Well, it was warm out there most of the day, and still it is warm as we head through the evening hours. Taking a look at 7th and Rangeline here, there are still a few clouds hanging on, but like most of the day, still pretty clear out there right now. In Joplin, a lot warmer today than what we normally see at this time of the year. We topped out at 91 degrees. You can see on average for September 16th, we're about 82 degrees. So pretty warm day for most of us across the area. Right now, Skywatch storm tracker pretty clear. That has been the case for much of the last 12 hours. Now it's still warm out there. 88 in Neosho, 86 in Lamar. Check out some of these spots in southeast Kansas. 91 in Independence, 89 right now in Neodesha. So it's still pretty warm, and it's going to really stay that way through the rest of the evening hours. We'll work our way down through the 80s, through the 70s, and most of us will bottom out to, later tonight in the mid-60s to upper 60s. We're going to talk about that. Have a full look at the forecast here in just a bit, Dow.
All right, see you then. A nationwide trend where students vandalize and steal school property to post videos on social media might be making its way to our area. In Pittsburgh, school officials last week started to notice the theft of small things from classrooms and the vandalism of bathrooms. The school district says they don't know if it's a direct result of the social media trend, but the timing is discouraging. And the Crawford County Sheriff says even if students are doing it to gain social media attention, it's still against the law.
If the schools decide that they need to contact law enforcement, then you have 2 things you have to deal with. You're going to get consequences from the school, and then potentially you could have criminal charges on a silly challenge.
TikTok says it's taking the videos down with the hashtag associated with the trend. Tonight at 9 and 10, we're going to hear more from the sheriff and the school district. Former Kansas City Chiefs assistant coach Britt is scheduled to go to trial in April after a crash in February that seriously injured a 5-year-old girl. Reed, the son of Chiefs head coach Andy Reid, will go on trial April 18th. The trial date was set during a virtual hearing today. Prosecutors say Britt was speeding and under the influence of alcohol when he hit two cars on an Interstate 435 entrance ramp near Arrowhead Stadium. A child in one of the cars, 5-year-old Ariel Young, suffered a traumatic brain injury. The trial is expected to last about a week. COVID-19 does not discriminate. It can affect the young and old alike, even those we perceive to be extremely healthy. Reporter Robert Townsend tells us about the St. Louis football standout currently fighting for his life after contracting COVID-19.
For the past 4 years, 18-year-old Elijah Johnson has been a top football player at Fort Zumwalt East High School. But now the popular player everyone calls EJ is off the field.
He went from scoring 2 touchdowns a football game to laid up in a hospital bed.
2 weeks after playing in his last game, EJ is fighting his toughest foe yet, COVID-19.
It's heartbreaking because you can't do anything but sit here and hold his hand and pray.
Cynthia Johnson says on September 1st, her son first lost his sense of taste, and within 2 days, EJ tested positive for the deadly virus.
It's been unimaginable, honestly, to see your baby laid up in a bed and can't breathe and all these wires and cords hooked up to him. And
on Sunday, paramedics flew the St. Peter's teen to Children's Hospital in St. Louis.
He has gone days without eating.
The 240-pound high school football player doesn't have any underlying conditions, and he's never been hospitalized.
I strongly feel that it happened when he went back to school because he was fine before he went back to school.
Currently, the Fort Zumwalt School District has a mask optional policy. Johnson's mom would like to see a mask mandate across St. Charles County.
I just think that the county and everything else is just too lax.
Johnson says about a week before her son was admitted here to Children's Hospital, EJ wanted to get a COVID vaccine.
But I want to help the next person because this doesn't have to happen. Please get vaccinated.
A passionate plea from a mom who today finally saw her COVID battling son sit up and wave.
I believe my son's going to make it and we're going to get him well.
Spokesperson for Fort Zumwalt Schools says in the past 2 weeks, 152 of the district's 17,500 students have tested positive for COVID. Still ahead, country music legend Reba McEntire was in Oklahoma this week touring buildings and getting rescued from one of those buildings. And later, Missouri Southern is 0-2 and focused on their next opponent. We're going to hear what Coach Atiba Bradley sees in Central Oklahoma's game coming up. Country music star Reba McEntire is okay after first responders rescued her in rural Oklahoma. She was touring a historic building in the small town of Atoka when the stairs collapsed. Kylie Dedman reports the evacuation was caught on camera.
Oh, it was pretty scary. I was worried about who was downstairs and how bad it was.
Kobe Sherrill was touring in a historic building downtown Atoka Tuesday afternoon with Reba McEntire for a future project.
We were just touring the building and the stairwell was weak. It seemed weak, but we did not realize how weak it was until several people had gone down it, and then we heard the crash and saw the stairs fall.
City of Atoka Emergency Management Director Travis Mullins says the stairwell from the second story to the third collapsed, falling on top of the stairwell from the first to the second floor and trapping people on whatever floor they were on at the time. The fire department had to help people out of the second story window and down the ladder.
Next thing I know, she starts recording, just trying to get the video of what's going on, and next thing you know, we see Reba climbing down a ladder.
Sarah Jackson saw the fire trucks on the surveillance cameras at a restaurant across the street from where McEntire was.
I thought when she said Reba, I was like, oh Lord, Reba done got hurt. Reba's done hurt, and she's like, no, EMS already checked on her, so she's fine, she's fine.
Cheryl says the building has been there for over 100 years.
It opened our eyes to see exactly just how unsturdy they was, and just when they did collapse, we seen what little was actually holding them up.
One person was taken to a Durant hospital with minor injuries, but Mullins says everybody else is okay.
Hearing that she was okay was a complete relief on that part.
As for the project McEntire was reportedly looking to use the building for, there's no word yet.
Again, that was Kylie Dedman reporting. Jacob Leonard is up next with the complete forecast, and later Pitt State's looking to bounce back after a tough loss in their home opener as they prepare for Northeastern State.
Well, today turned out to actually be a pretty nice day across the area. Once again, it was pretty warm, but overall, blue skies, not a lot of clouds, and the humidity stayed pretty low. Here's a look at 7th and Rangeline. There are a few clouds hanging around, but like most of the day, stayed pretty clear. Right now in Joplin, 88 degrees. The wind coming out of the east-southeast at 10 miles per hour. Humidity, as I mentioned, not too high right now. Now, taking a look at the last 36 hours, it was warm for the day, warm for the second weeks of September, also a little warmer than what we saw yesterday. Yesterday, we're in the mid-80s for highs, and then as you can see today, much warmer. We hit 90, so again, pretty warm for September 16th. Taking a look at temperatures right now, still pretty warm out there. 87 in Carthage, 86 in Lamar, 86 in Parsons. Check this out. Independence, Sedan, we still have spots setting into the 90s after 6 o'clock. Skywatch storm tracker here. Not a lot going on right now, and that has been the case for most of the day. The last 12 hours, pretty clear. A future track for you when you get up to go to school tomorrow. It's still going to be pretty warm. Most of us will be in the mid to upper 60s. Not what I would call cool for 7:30 in the morning. As we work through the rest of the day, we will start to see some pop-up showers tomorrow evening. If you're heading out at 6 o'clock, heading out to high school football games tomorrow, I know I'll be out there, Webb City at Carthage. A lot of big high school football games tomorrow. We may see some pop-up showers while you're heading out, but as we work through the rest of the evening through game time, by the time those games are over, most of that will clear out. Now, we may see pop-up shower to late Friday night into Saturday morning, but for the most part, none of that will be serious, and I think most of us will stay dry. Now, working through Friday night, Saturday morning, and into Saturday afternoon, once again, it'll be warm, most of us topping out near 90. Now, as for the rest of this evening, it's going to stay warm. We'll work our way through the 80s, down through the 70s. Then most of us will bottom out mid to upper 60s, 68 in Joplin, 66 in Pittsburgh, so not a real cool evening. It's going to stay warm through the weekend. 90 tomorrow. Once again, we do have a chance for those pop-up thunderstorms late tomorrow night. May see some stick around into Saturday morning, but it's hot through the weekend, hot to start next week. We do have some rain chances working in early next week on Tuesday, and that will cool us down. First day of fall coming up on Wednesday, and it will definitely feel like it. You don't need me to tell you. You walk out the door Wednesday morning, it's going to be a little cooler, and it's going to feel nice, and it's going to finally feel like fall, hoping that sticks around, because I know it's been hot at high school football, and I'm tired of sweating out there, man.
I think a lot of people feel like I do. The best season in the 4 states.
Fall and
Absolutely.
Football.
Well, partly it's because of football. Right. Fall is the best season, I think. Love that sweatshirt weather. Thanks, Jacob. Coming up in sports, Frontenac and Colgan hit the field tonight for a Thursday night CNC rivalry game. And the Pittsburgh State Gorillas aim to bounce back from their first loss of the season. We're going to hear from the team on Saturday's game against Northeastern State after the break.
The Pittsburgh State Gorillas are on the road in Week 3 this weekend, facing the Northeastern State Riverhawks. Now, the Gorillas are 1-1 through 2 games after dropping the home opener last Saturday to Nebraska Kearney. Now, in that game, Pitt State jumped out to a 17-7 halftime lead. However, Kearney outscored them 21-0 in the second half, going on to win 28-17. Now, the team says that was a bit of a wake-up call, and they've spent this week fine-tuning some of the little things ahead of Saturday's game at NSU.
This week, the focus has been really, like the coaches said, just going 1-0 in everything that we do. And that's, meetings, practices, workouts, and then on game day, Saturday. Just everything that we do, the little details, it's really focusing on that and going 1-0 in everything we do. We just got to get back to what we do, play guerrilla football that's fast, physical, and 11 hats to the ball, as we always talk about.
The Missouri Southern Lions also on the road this weekend. They're heading south to face Central Oklahoma in Week 3. And the Lions are 0-2 this season after falling to Northeastern State in their home opener last weekend. Central Oklahoma is 1-1. Now here's Southern head coach Atiba Bradley on what he sees from UCO.
They're athletic. They've got we'll see another mobile quarterback who can run around a little bit. I think he does a good job in the pocket, but also does some damage when he gets on the edge. Defensively, they're aggressive. They're going to hug the routes. They're going to challenge us up front with their physicality, but they're like every MIAA team. They're well coached. They have some good depth. They have good size, and it'll be a good challenge for us.
What I've seen for their defense, they like to play a coverage that we like to throw the ball against a little bit, and we're just looking forward to doing that this week.
At the high school level, we have some Thursday night action in Pittsburgh this evening. Colgan Panthers welcoming the Frontenac Raiders for a CNC matchup. Colgan is 0-2, Frontenac 1-1 in the first 2 weeks. The game kicks off at 7. I have highlights right here tonight at 10. The Pittsburgh State volleyball team is off to a hot start this season. The Gorillas are 6-2 in their first 8 matches. Now, all 8 of those have been non-conference games for PSU. Tomorrow, the really important ones begin with Pitt State facing Central Oklahoma in their MIAA league opener. The Gorillas are feeling good right now, though, heading into conference play on a 5-match winning streak with their team chemistry leading the way.
Our team is a lot more cohesive this year. We're really all about playing for each other and with each other, and so we're better able to handle adversity more so than in past years. We have some new players that have been adding a lot to our team, and we've just been able to play really cohesively together, and we've bonded and meshed really well on and off the court, and I think that's the biggest difference for us this year.
Finally, Major League Baseball today. The Royals finish up a 3-game series with the Oakland A's. Now, the Royals fall today 7-2. However, historic day for Salvador Perez. He hits his 45th homer of the year. That ties Perez with Johnny Bench for most home runs in a single season by a catcher. Now, that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran, Private First Class Leonard Lake. The Pittsburgh native served in the U.S. Army, and we are proud to salute Private First Class Leonard Lake. He's tonight's 4-state hero. Jordan Nobby joins us now with a look at what's coming up tonight on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
Tonight at 9, going to have more on a national dangerous TikTok trend that has started locally. Also, the U.S. Capitol complex is back behind fencing ahead of a rally in support of those who stormed the building back in January. And a new invention to get every little last bit of ketchup out of those ketchup packets. Apparently to many people this is big news. That, of course, much more coming our way tonight. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
Got to get that ketchup scoop. Hey, the Museum of Pinball, which says it has the world's largest collection of pinball machines, well, it's closing its doors. Like many businesses, it's crumbling under the weight of the pandemic. The museum is auctioning off its illustrious collection of rare or unusual pinball machines and arcade games, around 1,700 machines to be exact. More than 750 of them have been sold already. The rest will be available at a weekend-long auction later this month. Those will be nostalgic bits to put in your family room for somebody. Still have 1,000 of them or so available.
My dad played a lot of pinball when I was little. Every time we'd go on vacation, like, he would always find the pinball machine that was like by the pool, by the game room, and that was one of the first things he did.
There was the pinball generation, then there was the arcade game video generation, and now it's the at home on your device generation, I guess. So a lot of people are going to be going to some games of a different sort tonight and tomorrow. We have that Colgan Frontenac game tonight, Webb City versus Carthage tomorrow night, and it's going to be warm for both.
Yeah, it's going to be warm the rest of the night, and it's going to be warm for football tomorrow. We're going to stay in the 90s tomorrow and stay in the 90s through the weekend. And if you're out at that Colgan game tonight, it'll still be warm when you get there. But we do have a chance to cool off next week, have some rain chances on Tuesday, and then, of course, the first day of fall on Wednesday. We'll see high in the 70s. I know that'll be a welcome sight for a lot of you.
For pretty much all of us, I think. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you tonight with a live look from Joplin's third Thursday. We'll see you right back here for KOAM News at 10. Let's make it a great evening.
Salon service is provided by the